"Welcome, Taeho," she said. "We're excited to learn from you." For the next 2 hours, Taeho answered their questions about human biology. He explained how humans could live with only one kidney, how broken bones could heal stronger than before, and how the human brain could rewire itself after damage. "It's called neuroplasticity," he explained. "If one part of our brain is damaged, another part can sometimes learn to do its job." The students took notes quickly. "Amazing," Sunmi said. "Your species seems designed to survive almost anything." "Not designed," Taeho corrected her. "We evolved this way. Earth can be a dangerous place." Word of the new research project spread through the academy. Students who had once laughed at Taeho now asked to join his study groups. Even the crystal aliens who had been meanest to him came to apologize. "We were wrong about humans," their leader said. "You are not weak, you are just different." Jisoo became Taeho's closest friend. She followed him everywhere, asking questions about Earth. "Is it true that humans sometimes run just for fun?" she asked one day at lunch. "Yes," Taeho laughed. "We call it jogging or marathon running." "But why do it if nothing is chasing you?" "To stay healthy, and because it feels good." Afterward, in his regular classes, teachers started asking for Taeho's opinion more often. They wanted the human perspective on problems. Sometimes his different way of thinking helped solve problems the aliens couldn't. Professor Kang, who taught chemistry, asked him to stay after class one day. "Your solution today was creative," she said. "Not how we would approach it, but effective." "Thank you," Taeho said. "I've been thinking," the professor continued, her skin turning thoughtful purple. "Humans seem good at finding unusual solutions. Is this common in your species?" Taeho nodded. "We call it thinking outside the box. When you don't have the strongest technology, you learn to be creative." 1 month after the accident, the Academy held a special event. Taeho presented the first findings from his research project. The main hall was full of students and teachers. "Human healing is not magic," Taeho explained to the crowd. "It's the result of millions of years of evolution. Our bodies are always ready to repair themselves." He showed videos of human athletes recovering from injuries, children healing from broken bones, and surgeons performing operations on themselves in emergencies. After the presentation, the head of the academy approached Taeho. "You have opened our eyes," he said. "For too long we thought technological advancement was the only measure of a species' worth. You have shown us that biological adaptation is equally valuable." That night, Taeho sent a message to his family on Earth. He told them about his new project and how things had changed. He ended the message with, "They don't think humans are weak anymore. They're starting to see what we really are. Survivors, who never give up. I think I'm finally where I belong." As he sent the message, Taeho looked out his window at the stars. Somewhere out there was Earth, so small in the vastness of space. But its people, he now knew, were anything but small in spirit. The final year at the Galactic Academy flew by quickly. Taeho had become one of the most popular students. His research on human resilience had changed how aliens viewed Earth and its people. Now, in the Grand Hall, Taeho stood with the other graduating students, waiting for the ceremony to begin. "Dorang, never thought I'd see a human graduate," whispered Sunmi, now his good friend. "Me neither." Taeho smiled. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the station. Red lights flashed everywhere. "Emergency alert, station orbit destabilizing. All students report to safety pods," announced the Academy's computer system. Panic spread quickly. Students began running in all directions. Some younger aliens froze in fear. "Everyone stay calm," shouted Professor Mock. "Follow evacuation procedures." But the situation was worse than anyone realized. The station's main power core was failing. Without it, life support would shut down in minutes. "The repair teams can't reach the core," someone shouted. "The safety doors are locked." Taeho looked around. Everyone was scared. Then he remembered something from his Earth training. Sometimes the simplest solution is the best one. "I can get to the core," he said, firmly. Professor Mock turned all six eyes to him. How? The radiation levels are too high. Humans can handle short exposure to radiation better than most species, Taeho explained. I'll need a basic suit, but I can do it. No one argued. They knew by now not to underestimate what a human could do. 5 minutes later, Taeho entered, the power core wearing a thin protection suit. The room glowed with dangerous energy. The air felt hot and heavy. You have 4 minutes before radiation damage becomes permanent, Professor Mock's voice said through his headset. Taeho worked quickly, reconnecting power cables and resetting safety systems. His hands moved steadily despite the danger. When he reached the main control panel, he saw the problem right away. The power flow was blocked by a physical object, a piece of space debris that had crashed through the station's outer wall. Need to remove the blockage manually, he told Professor Mock. That's too dangerous, the professor replied. The energy surge could kill you. It's that or lose the whole station, Taeho said calmly. He used tools from his belt to carefully pull out the debris. Energy sparked around his hands. It burned, but he kept working. With one final pull, the debris came free. Power surged back through the system. The station's lights returned to normal. Taeho made it back to the safety door just as his protection suit began to melt from the radiation. Medical teams were waiting for him. His skin was red with burns, but he was smiling. Just another day. For a human, he joked weakly before passing out. When Taeho woke up 2 days later in the medical bay, the academy's head director was waiting beside his bed. You saved everyone on this station, the director said. The Galactic Council has heard of your actions. They want to establish a permanent human department at the academy. Taeho sat up slowly, his body still sore. Really? Yes. And they want you to help lead it as an assistant professor after graduation. 3 months later, fully recovered, Taeho stood at the graduation ceremony. When his name was called, every student and teacher in the hall stood up and clapped. It was the first standing ovation ever given at the academy. In his speech, Taeho said, "We all have different strengths. Some of you can breathe in space. Others can live for thousands of years. Humans may seem simple compared to that. But we never give up. That's our strength." After the ceremony, Taeho stood at the arrival dock watching a small Earth ship approach. 5 new human students stepped out, looking nervous just as he had 1 year ago. "Welcome to the Galactic Academy," he said with a warm smile. "Don't worry about fitting in, they're ready for you now." Behind him, alien students watched the new humans with respect and curiosity. No one whispered about how weak they looked. In the main hall, a new plaque had been installed. It read, "Strength comes in many forms." Under it was a picture of Taeho stitching his own wound that fateful day, showing the galaxy what humans were really made of. The end. A crowd gathered around him. Professor Mock pushed to the front. "Stop this foolishness, you cannot treat yourself." "Actually, I can," Taeho replied. "All humans learn basic first aid. This isn't even that bad." With steady hands, despite the pain, Taeho began to stitch his own wound. The needle pierced his skin, pulling the edges of the cut together. 1 stitch, 2 stitches, 3. The aliens watched in complete silence. Some looked sick, others seemed amazed. "How are you not screaming?" asked a crystal student. "Humans can handle pain when we need to," Taeho explained as he continued stitching. "Our bodies are built to repair themselves." By the time he tied off the last stitch, the entire class was watching him with new eyes. Even Professor Mock seemed speechless. Jisoo stepped forward, her eyes wide. "You saved my life." "Anyone would have done the same," Taeho said. But they all knew that wasn't true. No one else had gone back for Jisoo, and none of them could have treated themselves as Taeho just did. For the first time since arriving at the academy, no one was calling Taeho weak. The group of alien students stared in silence as Taeho finished the last stitch on his arm. Some looked sick, others amazed. No one had ever seen anything like this before. "Does it not hurt?" asked a blue-skinned student with 3 eyes. Taeho wrapped a clean bandage around his freshly stitched wound. Of course it hurts, but humans can handle pain when needed. Professor Mock pushed through the crowd. His 6 eyes blinked in different patterns, showing his confusion. "You should be in shock," he said. "No species can remain conscious while performing medical procedures on themselves. Humans can," Taeho said simply. "It's part of our basic training on Earth." The medical team finally arrived, looking ready for an emergency. They seemed surprised to find Taeho sitting calmly with his arm already treated. "I'll still need to visit the medical bay," Taeho told them, "but the urgent part is done." As they helped him up, Jisoo stepped forward. "Why did you come back for me? You could have died." Taeho smiled. "Humans look after each other. It's what we do." News of what happened spread quickly through the academy. By evening, students were talking about nothing else. Taeho found himself the center of attention at dinner. "Is it true you fixed your own arm?" asked Suho, a student who had never spoken to him before. "Yes," Taeho said. "It's not that special. Most humans know how to do basic medical care." "But why?" asked another student. "Don't you have medical robots?" "We do, but they're not always available. Humans explore dangerous places. We need to know how to survive." More students gathered around his table. Even some teachers stopped to listen. "Our history is full of stories about humans helping each other during hard times," Taeho explained. "When there are floods or earthquakes on Earth, regular people become heroes. They dig through fallen buildings with their bare hands to save strangers." The aliens listened with growing interest. They had never heard these things about humans before. "But you're so physically weak," said a large rock-like student. "We are weaker than many species," Taeho agreed, "but we can endure more than you might think. Human bodies are good at healing." Professor Mock had been listening quietly. Now he spoke. "In my research, I found that humans can lose up to 40% of their blood and still survive. Is this true?" Taeho nodded. "Yes, we can lose a lot of blood and live if we get help in time. Our bodies start making new blood right away." "Fascinating," Professor Mock said. "And your pain tolerance?" "It varies from person to person, but all humans can push through pain when needed. Mothers can lift cars to save their children. Injured, hikers can walk for days to find help." The aliens looked at each other in surprise. This was not how they had seen humans before. Jisoo, who had been quiet until now, asked, "Is that why you have so many stories about human heroes?" "Maybe," Taeho said. "Our bodies are built to keep going when things are hard. We've survived, as a species, because we don't give up easily." An older teacher stepped forward. "I visited Earth once long ago. I saw humans running for pleasure, just running for many kilometers, smiling while in pain. I never understood it." Taeho laughed. "We call that endurance. Humans can't run as fast as many animals, but we can run longer than almost any creature on Earth. Our ancestors hunted by chasing animals until they got tired." Professor Mock's skin turned a thoughtful green color. "Perhaps we have underestimated your species. Our own evolutionary paths focused on avoiding damage entirely. We never developed your resilience." That night, Taeho received many messages from students who had never spoken to him before. Some thanked him for saving Jisoo. Others asked questions about humans. A few even apologized for how they had treated him. As he got ready for bed, his arm throbbing with pain, Taeho smiled. He hadn't come to the academy to be a teacher about humans, but if that's what it took to be accepted, he was happy to do it. His computer chimed with a message from Professor Mock. "Please come to my office tomorrow. I believe we need to reconsider your role here at the academy." Taeho fell asleep wondering what that could mean. For the first time since arriving, he felt like he might actually belong here. The day after the lab accident, everything changed for Taeho. As he walked to Professor Mock's office, students who had ignored him now nodded. "Hello." Some even smiled at him. Professor Mock's office was filled with strange plants and glowing screens. The professor sat behind a large desk, all 6 of his eyes focused on Taeho. "Please sit," he said. pointing to a chair. Taeho sat down, feeling nervous. Your actions yesterday were unexpected, Professor Mock began. The Academy Science Council has been discussing them all night. Taeho waited quietly. We have decided to start a new research project, Professor Mock continued, on human resilience and medical abilities, and we want you to lead it. Taeho couldn't believe what he was hearing. Me? Lead a research project? Yes. No one at this academy knows more about humans than you do. You will work with our top medical students. But I'm just a first-year student, Taeho said. Professor Mock's skin turned a bright yellow color. Yesterday you taught us something no textbook could. Sometimes the best teacher is someone who lives the experience. Later that day, Taeho found himself in a special lab. 5 senior students waited for him there. One of them was Sunmi, the top medical student from the Andromeda system. Here's a 800-word story for part 1, The Outsider, written in third-person style with simple basic English. Taeho stood at the entrance of the Galactic Academy, his heart beating fast. He was the first human to ever study at this famous school. The huge metal doors opened slowly. Inside, creatures from all over the galaxy moved around. Some had blue skin, others looked like walking trees, and a few seemed made of light. A small robot floated up to him. Welcome, human Taeho. I am Guide Bot 7. I will show you to your room. As they moved through the halls, many alien students stopped to look at him. Some pointed and whispered. Taeho tried to stand tall, but he felt very small. Is that really a human? Asked a tall purple alien with 4 arms. Yes, it is, so soft and pink. How strange, said another alien who looked like a blue jellyfish. Taeho's room was small but nice. He put down his bag and looked out the window. Space stretched out forever, stars shining like tiny diamonds. First class begins in 1 hour, the robot said before leaving. Taeho changed into his school uniform, a dark blue jumpsuit with the Academy logo. He looked at himself in the mirror and took a deep breath. You can do this, he told himself. The classroom was huge, with rows of seats going up like a theater. Taeho found an empty seat near the back. The alien next to him moved away quickly. Professor Mock entered the room. He was tall and thin with gray skin and 6 eyes that blinked at different times. Welcome to Advanced Physics, he said in a deep voice. I see we have a human with us this year. Interesting experiment by the admission board. All eyes turned to Taeho. He sat up straight, trying not to show how nervous he felt. Humans have barely mastered simple space travel, Professor Mock continued. Let's see if this one can keep up. This class was very hard. Professor Mock talked about things Taeho had never heard of before. The other students seemed to understand everything easily. Taeho wrote notes as fast as he could, hoping to study them later. After class, Taeho tried to talk to some of his classmates. Hi, I'm Taeho from Earth. Nice to meet you. A group of crystal-like aliens looked at him, then walked away laughing. One of them made a sound like breaking glass, which seemed to be their way of laughing. At lunch, Taeho sat alone. The food was strange, glowing cubes and purple soup that moved on its own. He missed simple rice and kimchi from home. Mind if I sit here? Asked a voice. Taeho looked up to see a small green alien with large eyes. Please do, Taeho said happily. I'm Do-yun, said the green alien, from the Andromeda system. I'm Taeho from Earth. I know, Do-yun said. Everyone knows. You're the first human to ever come here. Nobody seems very happy about it, Taeho said, looking around at the other tables where aliens were staring at them. They think humans are weak, Do-yun explained. Your planet is still young in galactic terms. Many here believe the Academy made a mistake letting you in. Taeho frowned. I worked very hard to get here. I believe you, Do-yun said. But you'll need to prove yourself to them. In the afternoon, they had physical training class. The teacher, a 4-armed blue alien named Coach Ha, made them run obstacle courses designed for different planetary conditions. When it was Taeho's turn, Coach Ha set the gravity higher than Earth's. Let's see how the human does in real conditions. he said with a smile that showed too many teeth. Taeho's legs felt heavy as he started the course. Climbing the wall was like moving through thick mud. His muscles burned. Some students laughed as he struggled. "Humans are so weak," one said loudly. But Taeho didn't give up. He thought of his family back home, how proud they were when he got accepted to the academy. He pushed through the pain and finished the course. He was the slowest student, but he finished. Coach Ha looked surprised. "Not bad for a human," he said, "but still not good enough." That night, Taeho lay in bed looking at the stars. His body ached all over. He wondered if he had made a mistake coming here. Maybe the others were right. Maybe humans weren't ready for the Galactic Academy. His computer screen lit up with a message from Earth. It was his little sister, Mina. "How was your first day, big brother? We all miss you. Show them what humans can do." Taeho smiled at the screen. Tomorrow would be better. He would show them what humans could do. They might think he was weak now, but they didn't know how strong humans could be when they needed to be. Here's a simple, engaging 800-word story for Part 2, The Accident, in third-person style. 3 weeks had passed since Taeho started at the Galactic Academy. Things were slowly getting better. He still struggled in most classes, but he was no longer always last. Some alien students had stopped laughing at him, though most still kept their distance. Today was the advanced chemistry lab. Taeho entered. The large room filled with strange equipment. Glass tubes glowed with colorful liquids. Machines hummed and beeped. The air smelled like metal and something sweet. "Today we work with antimatter compounds," Professor Kang announced. She was a tall alien with skin that changed colors as she spoke. Right now she was a serious shade of blue. "These are very dangerous. Follow all safety rules," the students broke into pairs. No one chose Taeho as usual. He ended up with Jisoo, a small, shy alien from Proxima who looked a bit like a fox with silver fur. "Sorry you got stuck with me," Taeho said as they put on their safety gear. Jisoo's ears twitched, nervously. "It's okay. I'm not good at making friends either." They started their experiment. Jisoo was actually smart but very scared of making mistakes. Taeho found himself helping her stay calm as they worked. "You're doing great," he told her, as she carefully measured a glowing purple liquid. Half an hour into the lab, a loud alarm started ringing. Professor Kang's skin turned bright red. "Everyone stop, there's a problem with the stabilization field." The room filled with flashing lights. Students began running for the exit. A safety shield began lowering over the most dangerous materials. Taeho was almost at the door when he realized Jisoo wasn't with him. He looked back and saw her frozen in fear near their workstation. Above her, a large piece of equipment was shaking loose from the ceiling. Without thinking, Taeho ran back into the room. "Jisoo, move!" he shouted. She was too scared to move. The equipment began to fall. Taeho reached her just in time, pushing her forward with all his strength. Jisoo tumbled safely away, but Taeho couldn't get clear in time. The heavy metal equipment crashed down. Taeho managed to avoid being crushed, but a sharp piece of metal sliced deep into his left arm. He felt a burst of pain as his lab coat turned red with blood. "Taeho!" Jisoo cried out. She had found her courage and came back to help him. Together, they stumbled out of the lab just as the safety doors sealed shut behind them. In the hallway, students and teachers gathered, watching the emergency lights flash. When they saw Taeho's bloody arm, they gasped. "The human is injured," someone shouted. "Get the medical team," Professor Kang called out, her skin now a worried purple color. "They can't come," another teacher replied. "The lab lockdown has sealed off the medical wing. It will be 30 minutes before they can reach us." The aliens looked at Taeho with fear and pity. To them, his injury looked deadly. Many alien species couldn't survive such blood loss or pain. "He will die," whispered a tall blue student. "Humans are so fragile," said another. Taeho looked down at his arm. The cut was deep. He could see muscle tissue. It hurt terribly, but he knew what to do. Every human explorer carried basic medical supplies and knew how to use them. "I'll be fine," he said calmly. "I just need to fix this." He sat down against the wall and reached into his pocket with his good arm. He pulled out a small metal case, his emergency medical kit from Earth. The aliens watched in confusion as Taeho opened the kit. Inside were bandages, disinfectant, a small tube of medical glue, and a curved needle with surgical thread. "What is the human doing?" someone asked. "Is this some death ritual?" another wondered. Taeho ignored them. He used his teeth to open an antiseptic wipe and cleaned the wound. It stung badly, but he only winced slightly. Next, he took out the needle and thread. "You're not going to—" Jisoo couldn't finish her sentence. "I am," Taeho said. "It needs stitches."